I will just go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Allie Harris, and I'm a holistic wellness practitioner and an intuitive healer. I help people to become unstuck in their lives, whether it be physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually, through the use of energy healing, nutritional detoxification, mindfulness, and just basically help people to recognize and replace patterns, physical patterns and habits, and mental emotional patterns that may be keeping them from where they want to go in their life. So today I wanted to talk to you about what are the excuses that you're telling yourself, okay? And so it comes from this idea. Right now, many of you are coming along the journey with me in our Healthy Mind and Body group, and we're in week 3 of our Healthy Mind and Body group, and we begin to talk at this point about this concept of deception or resistance, which is something that everybody faces when they decide to make a change in their life. And so when we decide to make a change in our life, and we start going down that road, we come into it with a certain identity about who we are and what our limitations are. And we see life really from that, that filter, essentially. And when we start changing that identity, when we start making shifts in whether it's what we're eating or how we're thinking, or if it's in business, how we conduct ourselves in business, when we start making those shifts, our brain doesn't really like that because it doesn't like change, and it will do pretty much anything that it needs to do to bring us back into our old identity, into the place where we're feeling stuck. And so that's where we come up against this period of resistance, or what we call deception, a term coined by Rod Hairston, creator of Growth U. And so what deception really looks like, it's the things that we tell ourselves why we can't keep moving forward. It's the sort of the self-talk, it's the chatter, it's the noise in our head telling us and really giving us the excuse to stay put exactly where we are and to not push through and to not continue moving forward. And so it's so incredibly important that people understand anytime they're looking to make change in their life that this period of resistance or deception is going to hit. And so, you know, I'm right in there in the trenches with the people who are in our group. And I woke up this morning realizing that I was knee deep in deception myself in a very, very big way. And so what I want to first just start off by saying is that, you know, these excuses pop up, and it's just a part of us. It's the old part of us talking to us, keeping us where we're stuck. But there's always going to be an excuse for not changing. And, you know, yes, there is always an excuse, but there is always a solution. So there may always feel like there's a roadblock, but there is always going to be a solution for whatever roadblock you're feeling. So if you're, you know, stuck in a job right now, and the excuse that you're making for yourself is that you can't get out of it because you need the money, right? Yes, maybe you do need the money, but there's always an opportunity for you to have a plan to get another job. Okay, and so that's the excuse keeping you stuck where you are. It's what you tell yourself, and it really gives you permission to not do anything, to not get out of your comfort zone, to not make a change. How many excuses for those of you who have been in relationships that didn't feel right, or it was time to move on? How many excuses do we make for ourselves, you know, as to why we should stay in a situation that's not serving anybody, really? So that happens all the time. So I want to switch into weight loss, or taking control of your health, because that's the experience that I have this morning with myself. And so I woke up this morning and I decided that what I was doing wasn't working, and I had like a little bit of a I wouldn't call it a meltdown, but definitely like a, oh my God, you know, this isn't working for me. Because a few weeks ago, I decided to really take control, and I decided to buckle down, get to the gym after my hysterectomy, and I was determined that I wasn't going to let hormones and lack of exercise derail me from my goals. And I was really motivated and really excited. And then I hit this wall, okay? And, you know, let me know, give me some hearts, drop me a 1 if you've been there before on a weight loss journey and you've ever used the excuse of, well, I just can't do it because I'm an emotional eater, or I have a sluggish metabolism, or I have a thyroid issue, or I can't exercise because I'm limited in some way. I can't exercise, so this isn't going to work for me. Or I'm big boned. I'm just naturally big boned, so I'm never going to be able to get to that place where I want to be. Drop me in the comment section some of the excuses that you've told yourself why you can't move forward on a weight loss program. Or maybe I don't have time. I don't have time to prepare. You know, I don't have time. I don't have money. Whatever. I have a physical ailment. I'm going through menopause. It's just not the same for people who are going through menopause, okay? So I am guilty of this morning totally blaming, totally being a victim of my excuses. Now, there are different categories of deception, and if you go to my Vimeo channel, you can go through that. My partner Bob and I did a 7-day period of time where each day we went through, we took one type of deception and we really dove deep. So the one that I'm talking about right now is the victim. And the victim is where it's everybody else's fault. It's out of my control. You know, I can't lose the weight because X. I can't lose the weight because my hormones are messed up, or whatever it may be, where I'm not taking responsibility. So this morning when I had my mini meltdown and I was thinking about and feeling sorry for myself because my hormones have shifted a bit since the hysterectomy, I used that as my excuse to feel sorry for myself and to not have to take responsibility for the fact that my eating has been less than ideal. It's been less than it should be. And it was the trainer this morning saying to me, hey, what'd you do this weekend? When I started to go through what I did this weekend, this graduation, that graduation, this family party, this, you know, event, I started to think about my eating. And was my eating compliant or was my eating not compliant? And then I was like, oh my God, Elson, this isn't working for you. You're bloated and swollen and feeling crappy because your eating wasn't compliant. And I took responsibility, okay? So what I would say to you is that, you know, we all come into situations with these labels that we put on ourselves. I could use my changing hormones as a limitation, or I could find a way to balance them. I know how to do that, and I know that I am doing that. So I know that this has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact that my eating just wasn't good and I was looking for an excuse, okay? So if you're trying to bust through these mental habits, the self-talk that is continuing to sabotage you, the first thing that you have to recognize is that whatever you believe you are, you are. So if I believe that I am a victim of a bad thyroid or a sluggish metabolism, that's where my mind goes, and then my mind will work really hard to make that happen. So I'm going to get more of what I put out. Where I focus my mind, that's where the energy is going to flow, and I'm going to get more of that. It's going to be like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So the first thing we have to do is to visualize, and visualization is a very powerful tool. So visualizing yourself where you want to be, as opposed to focusing the negative energy on where you are right now and where you're not happy. So we have to sort of trick the mind into believing that right now we're actually very happy being where we are, and visualizing what that looks like using your mind's eye and all of your senses. senses and begin to create an identity for yourself and an identity that you're going to grow into. You may not be there right now, but you will grow into it. So that's the first step, is creating that that visualization essentially of where it is you want to go. The second thing that you need to do is take responsibility, because the reality of it is that we always have choices. There are always solutions for whatever our situation is. We are never stuck. It's just our perception of being stuck or our unwillingness to do what is necessary to push through. And so understanding that where you are in your body, in your mind, in your life, in your business, in your relationship is a result of you. It is because of you that you are where you are, and that no matter what your circumstances are, we can turn them around. It's going to take some hard work. It's going to take some patience, but you can always, always turn it around, okay? So understanding that. And the last thing is having a plan. You know, just visualizing it and dreaming of it and starting to feel what it would feel like in your body isn't enough. We have to have a plan of action in order to fully feel like we're taking control. We have to know where we're going. So, for me, it was just the realization that my mind was playing tricks on me, and that this isn't about my hormones. This is about the fact that I just wasn't eating well, and going to the gym, really kind of sweating it out, changing the energy up, and starting to really focus on the positive and focus on the things that I can control. When you focus on the things that you can control, and then you're in action, and then the energy is moving, and not stagnant or stuck. Okay, so those are my 3 takeaways from today. I hope that you got some value. Please let me know if you got some value. I'd really appreciate it. And give me your feedback. I'd love to hear from you, and I'd love to connect with you. So take care, guys. Enjoy the gorgeous day.